Welcome to We Are the Hansons, where family, fun, and sometimes sawdust flies. With 13 kids, we have built our fair share of cribs, beds, and everything in between. Join us today as we tackle DIY projects, share some tips and some moments, and maybe we even make a few mistakes because we just did this today. So from simple builds to custom creations, we'll show you how to make some affordable ideas. You know what? I can't say beautiful because beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And at least you can say that what you do is built with love and some chaos. So grab your tools and subscribe because We Are the Hansons. Home is built by the hand and heart. And go to wearethehansons.com or wearethehansons.family. What is it?
We Are the Hansons Family.
Oh, wearethehansonsfamily.com. Yeah, you see, I can't even build a website. So, this is a weird show because I don't see too many out there, but we have built a lot of cribs, bunk beds, our own beds, headboards,
Bookshelves,
TV stands. What else have we built? I know we've done a lot of fixing besides building.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I'll give you an example that, most people take for granted. That little shelf above the washer and dryer.
I know I do.
Okay, people take that for granted all the time. Like, they look at it. But when you have this many kids, how much laundry soap do you think we go through?
I'd say about a gallon every week and a half, 2 weeks.
I'll bet you it's sooner than that.
No, that's about close.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. So there's constantly stuff up there. Like, our family's just like everybody else's family. Socks disappear. But what I notice in our family is space disappears.
Yeah, there's not enough.
I never know where this stuff comes from.
I need a shed that I could just put stuff in and, like Christmas decorations, stuff like that.
Yeah, for your stuff, I would say it's got to be about 6,000 feet long and about 4,200 feet wide.
A garage will work.
3-4 levels,
No.
because that's the way it is. So today, we built a bunk bed, and I don't know what it is. When I'm doing the kids stuff like that, I either pinch my finger, I break something, or we order, like today, what was wrong with it?
It had a hole for the stairs that was about 2 inches too far away from where it was supposed to be.
Facts. Well, and I think that one was supposed to be there, but I think there was supposed to be another one, and it just didn't work, and none of the other ones worked. They were all, drilled the same way and everything else. But how often does that happen when we do stuff like this?
All the time. We never have one project that goes like it's supposed to.
I would agree with that. Like, it gets, very, very bad.
Or sometimes the holes are drilled on the wrong side.
That happens quite often. I don't know. What advice would you give to people that are first starting out?
I would have to say, read the reviews before you order, because yes, sometimes the reviews are good, but you get the product and it's not great. And sometimes the reviews are, so. You just got to read the description. And if you get the product and there is something wrong with it, make sure you rate that product and tell why, so that somebody else doesn't have the same issue.
I think it's hard because there's always that thing in the back of your mind, like, well, these people just didn't know what they were doing, so that's why they gave it a bad review. But I'm going to say, this is the honest God truth, I'm going to say 60% of the bunk beds, the beds, the headboards, or especially the cheap ones, or cribs. Now, what was that thing that swung that we had to put together? That had a bolt missing, and that actually had a little bit of an electric motor where you put the baby in. It's like got the little bassinet thing in there, and it swings back and forth. Every single one of them especially if you buy them from China. They have nuts missing, bolts missing, holes missing. And when you go to look at the directions on how to do it, what do you think of that?
Yeah. I don't think the directions are always accurate, to be honest.
I personally think that doing this type of thing, the do-it-yourself, the DIY projects, I think it's pretty good for bringing husbands and wives together. If you can get through it without strangling each other first, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we do pretty good. I don't like the particle board stuff.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like, okay, so the husband or the guy usually starts out, and this is the way that it's going to be. And then the wife halfway through thinks that she can do it better. And she jumps in.
Oh, honey, we know we can do it better.
Come on. Well, and then the guy has to come back, and say, okay, well, this doesn't work this way. And then it always ends up being, I wouldn't say an argument, but a huffy puffy session. What do you think?
Yeah, I would have to say yes.
Just because it is so hard. They give you a piece of paper and there's usually English words on it, but half of them are misspelled. And then like there's steps missing.
It's more frustrating than hard.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's not hard work at all. It's just very, very frustrating, like trying to put it together. Like today, we ended up with 3 bags of stuff that weren't even in the directions. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did.
So there's A, B, C, D, E, different bolt lengths. And then there's, like F and J will be washers, but they're the same washers. And you're trying to figure out why, you know what I mean? Why they're different, but they're really not different.
Yes.
So I think the engineers got together and they're like, we're going to play a joke on these people. Or like today, I mean, if this bed would have came when me and you first got together, it would have been like, okay, well, time to send it back because the bolt hole's not there, right?
Yeah.
Now we've learned, okay, we got to make a complaint to the company because there's going to be a whole bunch of people that are younger than us that aren't going to be able to put this thing together. And we'll see what they do. They'll probably send us back, sorry, blah, blah, blah. But we just went and grabbed a drill and a drill bit.
Yep. And we made it sturdy and safe.
Yeah, I mean, we put it right where it was supposed to be. It just wasn't there. Now, here's the thing with the DIY, though. You save so much money.
Yeah.
Like, we had friends when we first started. I was 24, you were 18. And we had Morgie, and we had friends that were buying like $1,500, $1,600 cribs.
Yeah.
And we're like,
$60 is good for us.
$60, $75. And then, you bring it home and you try to put it together. And I'm telling you, one of the most frustrating things in the world, I don't even know what it's called, is the little latch on the bottom of the crib that you pull and then lift up and then the thing comes down. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That, for fathers, is one of the best learning tools ever.
You think so?
Oh, you get so frustrated that you're ready to bend that metal in little pieces and take a blowtorch to it because you get so pissed. But then you put in hours, blood, sweat, and tears. Think about it. You think about throwing the whole thing. And every guy out there knows exactly what I'm talking about. And then you get it and it finally works. And you're like, yeah, that's no problem. I knew I was going to get that. You remember those days?
Yes. Yes.
Or, sometimes we would go places and we would buy I wouldn't say antique furniture, but good used furniture. We'd throw it in the back of our truck. We'd bring it home. We'd get it in there. And literally it was like, as soon as we walked in our door, it started falling apart, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think part of that was we just didn't know what good furniture was back then.
Do you remember the bookshelf we put together that the holes were on both sides of the bookshelf? I do. And yeah, that was like one of them things where it was a factory screw up and it was sent to like a liquidator and we bought it, but it was done backwards, but with the same piece. Yeah.
So the other side was supposed to be the same thing, but backwards, and we didn't. We got 2 of the same symmetrical pieces, but we made it work. We used that thing for a long time. Good thing my ingenuity was there to take it on.
Yeah, it just kind of looked a little funny. but
It was unique. I wouldn't call it funny looking. I would call it unique, nostalgic.
okay.
Yeah, wouldn't you?
Sure.
I mean, a lot of people would love to have that thing. What else? What was your favorite thing that we ever put together?
I would have to say probably the kids' cribs and maybe their bookshelf. I
I'll
don't
tell you,
know.
my favorite thing that the kids and I put together. One was when we were at one of our old houses, and we went up, and all we did was we made like a deck and a pine tree for the kids to go up. It wasn't even a tree house. It was just like a little deck in the pine tree.
Oh, you're talking about just building stuff.
Yeah,
not
well,
like
yeah, anything
furniture.
like do it yourself type stuff.
I don't know. We had some fun times at our old farm
We did,
building
and
stuff.
it's kind of fun because growing up around my dad and my grandpa, they did a lot of that stuff. Like my grandpa would make really fancy, like, do you remember some of like the glassware cases he made that were cherry and stuff like that? And
Yes.
my dad would build candle holders and things like that. So it's kind of gets in your blood, like you like doing it until you have to do it.
You want to know my favorite thing we did together
What's that?
was building the smokers.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and the kids all helped with that.
Oh, I love that. I wish we could do some more of that stuff because, man, we had some good times and late nights.
We did. Those types of things for families, like this do-it-yourself stuff, where you just come up with an idea and you just go at it. You start doing it. One, because it's cheaper than going out and doing anything else. And, when you're young like that, a lot of people just don't have the cash flow to go do a bunch of different stuff. So you start doing that and you really take an interest in it and you get good at it because it's your family stuff. You're doing it. So we used to have kind of like a metal shop. I would just say it was a good garage with that kind of thing. And then out next to that, we would work late nights building these smokers. And outside, we had a fire ring right there, a burn pit. And pretty soon we're doing this and we're building that. And then we're roasting marshmallows. And a little bit after that, we're making s'mores. And then it kind of turns into like the aunts and uncles come over and the cousins come over. And pretty soon, 2-3 times a week.
Go-karts and four-wheelers and going all over the place.
Yeah, those were really, really good times. And it all literally started with just getting together to do these do-it-yourself projects.
There are emotional sides to building furniture for your kids.
Is there?
There is.
Well, let me hear about it.
Well, the emotional side to it is, you build the crib
Right?
and then they grow out of the crib, so they're in a toddler bed, and you're watching your kids grow in front of your face.
Well, that's true.
And then they get to like 7, 8, and they're in a twin bed or queen, whichever you prefer as a family. And they want their own type of bedding.
True.
And most of it isn't kiddish anymore. It's starting to come out of that. And then you hit your teens and they want the big beds.
Oh, all the time.
And then pretty soon they're graduating and they're gone.
Yeah, I know that's a tough thing to go through. But it is what it is. I mean, I watched a show one day and the guy's like, what's the best thing about being a parent? And he's like, watching your kids grow up. And then the guy says to him, well, what's the worst thing about being a parent? And he said, watching your kids grow up. It's like the cycle of life thing. But I think another thing with the DIY projects is the kids start loving it. Like, how do I explain it? A lot of times as a father, I think that you have to teach. And a lot of teaching, I would say most teaching is not done by you telling them something. It's by doing something, right? So when you're doing stuff, you bring the kids out really not to help you, because most of the time when they start out, they're slowing you down, except you enjoy your time. But you're out there and you're doing stuff, even on some of the job sites that we've had perfect example. 2 years ago, we're doing this outside painting job on this house. And our littlest daughter, she really wanted to do something. Well, for the garage, there were a set of dormers on it that were pretty much shot, but they needed to be painted. Well, she wanted to be part of the family, so I mixed up some of this god-awful green paint that they wanted to paint it with, and we set those out, and what did she do?
She went to town.
She went to town.
She did it.
She did it, and there was paint up to her elbows and all over her feet.
In her hair.
It was everywhere, but man, was she proud of doing something, and it made her feel like she belonged to the family. And I think this is a process. I literally think that DIY projects with your family is one of the best things, and it might not be as nice as a professional. I guarantee it won't be. But one, you'll get better at it. But two, it's about spending time with your family. It's about going through all those emotional processes where you learn about things, and it builds confidence in our kids. All of our kids have helped with something like that. And now they're pretty good doing pretty much whatever we're doing, wouldn't you say?
I would say so. I think that they've learned a lot from us, and I see it every day, them using what we've taught them.
Oh, absolutely. Like my 7-year-old daughter, I can say not everything, but if I say, get me a crescent wrench, she's probably going to know what it is.
Yeah.
Or give me a hammer, or give me a Phillips, or give me a straight. She knows all those things. I've met, 17, 18-year-old boys that, well, what's a crescent wrench?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that it's important for all the kids, and I think it's important for, the husband-wife relationship. Like when you first start this and you're first putting together your first crib, there's something special about that. I remember, I can't remember what you said, but basically I'm working on this crib and I'm working hard, and you're watching me and you're like, oh, you're a snack.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it was something about that. Yeah. What was it?
I don't know.
What was it?
I don't know.
But, well, is that like a common thing? Like, is that part of nesting? Is that part of like, we're building a family, that type of thing?
No.
What is it then?
A snack?
No. I'm talking about that emotional moment that you have, like husband and wife putting that stuff together, and you get it done, and it really does give you that feeling of accomplishment. Like, I just met the world and I kicked its butt, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then if you do get into like fixing some of your car stuff or, things like that, there's a sense of accomplishment in it. And I think that it teaches you to build as a couple. And I think that it builds your family also doing those types of projects. Even though, trust me, were times that I wanted to throw something through the window because I was that frustrated with building it.
Yeah, with building it or having to move it. When we move, it's a nightmare. The heavy stuff is the worst.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know why it's synonymous with quality and being heavy, but for some reason, it's synonymous, and it sucks.
I don't know. Our mattress to our bed is heavy.
Yeah, I don't know that either, but it is. So, I mean, doing stuff like that, even building like little fishpole holders for going fishing, or to this day, one of my goals still for my little daughters is, when they reach 10, I want them to be able to have their own treehouse so they can go out and they can have friends over and they can have sleepovers in their treehouse.
They want a playhouse, like an actual house.
Right.
On the ground.
Well, they want one in the tree.
Well, that too.
They would settle for one on the ground. So, we're aiming to please
eventually.
At this point. Yeah, yes. At this point in our life. So, I'm not getting any younger, neither are you.
Well, you're definitely getting older than me.
Well, I don't think that's ever going to change. But anyways, thank you, folks. And you know what? Get out there. Enjoy some time with your family, even if it's just putting something together, like a baby crib or a bunk bed or anything. Get out there and spend time with your family.
Yes, absolutely.